The following BLTV program is brought to you by O'Flaherty Law. Please enjoy.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to this episode of the Seize Your Business podcast. Today, I have Addie of Karben on today. And what we're going to be talking about is, marketing principles and really how marketing an artist is exactly like marketing a business or a product. So Chad, thanks for being on. And why don't you give everybody a little bit of background about you and Karben, and then we'll hop into the subject.
Absolutely. So as you said, my name is Addie. I am the owner and founder of Karben Studios. Karben Studios is really the umbrella company of two separate entities, one of which is Karben Marketing. So we're doing graphic design and digital marketing, video, photography, all that kind of stuff. And then Karben Management is actually a talent management agency where I'm working with artists, bands, things like that in a management business capacity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is exciting for me because I know you got a background in managing artists and marketing them. So
Sure.
Let's start talking about, and I guess we were talking about before about how, people may think it's different, but all the marketing principles are the same. So talk a little bit about your experience with artists and what you've done, and then we'll kind of convert that over to businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody, when I tell them I'm in music and this, they're like, how are you in those two different things?
Yeah,
it's
right.
completely different worlds, right? And I get that totally. But at the end of the day, high level, really it's the same thing. Marketing a artist, a band is very similar to marketing a product, a service, a business. All the principles are the same. Every business that comes to me thinks they're the best at what they do.
Yeah.
They're the best business, best product, best services. They have the best customer service. It's the same way with an artist. Every day I get emails from artists that want me to sign them where they're just saying, I'm the best in Chicago, sign me.
Yeah,
and
right.
It's a super compelling message, by the way, but they all think they're the best at what they do, and that's great on both sides, but that's just not enough anymore, right? There has to be a reason for people to follow you, a reason for people to buy from you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot like a product on a shelf with an artist in a very flooded industry, just like in everything else. Why would somebody work with you? Why would somebody hire you? What makes you so great?
Mm-hmm.
What's the incentive on my side to work with you? In the same way as a business, you think you have a great product, but what separates you from everybody else?
Yeah.
It's the same in both sides.
So how do you develop that with an artist?
Sure. So a lot of it's their brand. So you want to meet with them first, figure out who they are as a person. There's no reason really to change them as a person. You just kind of bring out what they already have.
Yeah, right.
So I currently represent a DJ. DJ Shauna is her name. She's based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And she's just an awesome person in general, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't have to create that image. We're just telling people what they should already know. That's just how she is in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's creating a brand that people are actually compelled to and want to follow. And I always say, what's the incentive of following her, right?
Okay.
So out of the thousands and millions of pages you could follow on Facebook, all the artists you could follow, what's the incentive to follow her? There's got to be a reason to come to her page, or what's the point, right? And a lot of artists miss that. It seems obvious, but a lot of them miss the mark there. They just think they're great, and everybody should just know that by default.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Because I am me, and right.
Right, exactly. Right. I'm an incredible singer. Everybody should just know that right off the bat. And in the same way with like a business, when they launch a website, they spend all this money to get this beautiful website, and they just assume people are going to know that site is there, and people are going to start flooding to the site, right? So that's where we kind of come in, is we create that why. That why would I come to this company? Why would I come to this artist and hire this artist?
So is that what you mean, the second part of that brand, the why? It's not only creating the brand, but the reason to come to somebody?
Absolutely. So like I said, there's millions of DJs out there, for example. So with my DJ that I work with, why would you hire her over somebody else? There has to be some benefit there. Mm-hmm. So is it, her personality? She's easy to work with, easy to book. She just makes the room better when she walks in, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And having that brand, she's a very motivational person. So having a motivational brand around it that has a reason then for people to come to that page.
What do you mean by that, motivation?
So like every Monday she posts a Monday motivation video. She actually does motivational speaking as well. So it's just another layer on top of just a standard DJ.
Yeah, she's not just, well, I think that talks to, and this is a good illustration, maybe we can dive into how businesses can do this.
Sure.
your brand is not like your product or service. Your brand is you personally as well.
Absolutely.
Right. So,
Yep.
so it sounds like the motivation is her.
Yep.
Right. And the brand is the product or service is the DJing or
Right.
whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're hiring her, not the music side of things.
Yeah.
Right.
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 So how does a business do that?
Absolutely. So in the same way, I'm trying to think the best way to illustrate that. But in the same way,
How are they missing it? I guess. Maybe
yeah, absolutely.
How are they missing it?
Yeah, I think a lot of companies are missing the mark there, and it comes down to personal brand at the end of the day. Everybody needs their personal brand, and a reason for a customer to purchase something from you, right? So, just by being awesome, just by let's use an example of a construction company.
Yeah.
Just being a good builder isn't enough. You need to have something more than that to bring somebody to the table. So if you're competing against all these other builders, what's going to separate you from everybody else?
So you're noticing in the marketplace that there's a lot of companies that are, or even artists that are missing that mark.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Everyone that messages me, like I said, they'll message me every day and just say, "I'm awesome at what I do. Sign me today." Okay. Well, what else is there? What else do you have that's unique from everybody else? In the same way, I'm sure when you started this podcast, you had to figure out a niche that you could hit that's different than every other podcast in your niche.
Yep.
What separates you from everybody else? Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
So how are you carrying that over into other parts of marketing?
Sure.
Or using those parts together, I should say.
Yeah. So on the music side.
Or either side.
Yeah.
Right?
So I focus in the Karben Marketing side. I actually focus on the creative side. But the way that we're bringing that over is just figuring out, again, what's going to separate them from everybody else. We have a company that sells grass-fed beef and through e-commerce, and there's a lot of companies doing that nationwide, and it's discovering what separates them from everybody else, because you can't just rely on price. It can't just be the cheapest.
Yeah, right.
You don't want to be competing on price at the end of the day. So it's figuring out, if they have the best quality product, they have the best quality service. Is it when they ship out an item, they have a personal letter to that customer that's buying from them? Something that's unique like that. You need to bring that to the table, because otherwise it's just going to come down to price. There has to be a reason why we're going with you instead of somebody down the street from me. If I'm in Florida and I want to purchase from a company in Wisconsin, why would I do that when I can go down the street? Because it's that customer service, it's that connection that you have with that company, that brand.
So is the market going heavy in this direction?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the younger companies you see out there, a lot of the startups are doing things like this. They're touching you on a more personal level. I subscribe to this morning drink, this athletic greens, it's called.
Oh,
it's
I know exactly
with that. So when they're sending stuff to you, they're sending you a personalized message from the person that actually boxed that item, saying what their hobbies are. Yeah, absolutely. So you actually see a picture of them, and you get a better feel for, this is a real person that packages. It wasn't a robot, and they're making a personal connection with me. And they're sending you emails at the same time, and the same level, being very personable with you and saying, how are things going? My name's Steven. If you have any questions, contact me. It just needs to be more personal. Nobody wants to work with the big box stores that don't have an actual person behind it.
Yeah. I mean, do you think those big brand days are starting to go away?
Absolutely. I think we're seeing that every day with companies closing and all these startups that can run leaner than those companies and they can be more creative with things. They're really starting to take out those bigger companies.
So are artists doing the same, where they're putting this personal touch into things?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of the bigger artists have somebody, for example, posting on their social media for them. They have somebody doing that job for them. But having your own voice on social media, it doesn't sound like someone's just posting as a robot. Like somebody posted, they scheduled out posts 3 years in advance and just posted a bunch of random stuff. It's actually on a personal level. It's actually them commenting, them liking things. That makes a huge difference.
So how are you helping clients, like on the corporate or even the artist side, get into that mode or do that? Absolutely.
So first, on the artist side, it's probably the easiest to explain. So like I said, Shauna is running all of her social media. You're actually talking to her. And you got to be welcoming, and you ask questions, allow people to actually comment on your stuff, and then respond as well.
Oh, okay.
Don't just leave it there. If someone makes a comment, you got to respond to it. But adding that personal level, so you're not just talking to a wall, you actually have a communication there. That's really what social media needs to be, is a communication between two people and not just one person saying something to a wall, like I said.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you see I mean, I can see that on the artist side. But
Yeah.
How are they doing on the corporate side?
Sure.
Because you're probably involving multiple people on the corporate side.
Right, yeah, and that's typically the problem, is they have multiple people posting on social media, and I always tell them you need to have one voice across everything. So if you have if you have one social media person, I know sometimes there's teams of people, one person needs to be dedicated to that account. Because if you have 4 different people that have, even if their grammar is different or something is off, people can pick up on that. It's obvious, right? So you want to have one voice across Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, whatever it is, that people can relate to and respond to.
Yeah, I've noticed that when I use social media when I got upset with some bigger brands, right?
Sure.
And you know, like, I won't say the names, but cable companies,
sure,
phone
I know what you're
companies,
talking
right?
about. You have to
Phone
say
companies. And you notice I'm talking to one person for a while, and all of a sudden I get a new person. It's kind of like, now I got to start all over.
And they have
again.
no idea what you talked about to the first person.
Right. You know, it's very frustrating.
Right,
You get things done, but
Absolutely.
it's there's no continuity.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's real frustrating.
Yeah. Could somebody write this down? I don't want to go through this entire thing again that I just talked to the last person
Exactly,
about.
right? And you told the last person said this is going to get fixed yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And I even go ahead.
No, I was going to say, am I talking to the right person now, or do I have to get referred to 6 more people? And
exactly.
Then,
Exactly.
I get it. Yeah.
And another thing too, there's these new marketing systems out there. I had a what do they call it? A plumbing and heating guy come to my house, a company come to my house, and I got a text message with kind of like the athletic greens with a letter in there. I got a text message saying a guy's going to be there in 34 minutes. It was a picture of him, and it gave like background of him and his family.
Awesome.
Right then and there, I was like, "This is fantastic."
Absolutely.
They were the most expensive people on the block, and I was happy to pay for it.
Absolutely. And Amazon's doing the same thing now, where you can actually track where the driver is. It'll say like they're 4 stops away, 5 stops away, and it'll give you an idea of where they are, and you can actually see them on the map where they're at.
Really?
Which is incredible. Instead of having we'll be there sometime between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.
Make
sure you're home.
Make sure you're home.
Make sure you have nothing else going on, right?
You shut down your life
absolutely,
now, right?
Absolutely.
For all this.
And you're right. People will pay for that because, time is their most valuable asset, and they're going to do whatever it takes to save them time. They don't want to be stuck there for 12 hours when they know I'm going to be here in 15 minutes.
And that says a lot about, the brand, right? It's kind of like, hey, I'm going to make you sit here versus somebody who says like, hey,
they actually
I'll be there in 34 minutes.
Yeah. They care about their customers, or at least they make it look that way, which is important. Yeah.
So what are the things our companies doing on the marketing side to make sure that they communicate that they care about their clients, or how are they approaching it?
Yeah. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't do a ton on that side of the business. I don't want to speak too much to that, but I think that social media is the biggest thing right now, and a lot of companies are missing the mark. They don't think they need to be on social media. Even larger companies, they're not putting money into social media in terms of ads. They'd rather pay for a billboard or radio advertising or something that's not going to work when they can pay a fraction of that cost and target the exact customer that they want to reach through social media. And I don't think enough companies are doing that currently. So that's something that we're trying to move clients to, is getting a voice on social media and actually talking to your customers.
Well, talk a little bit about something you just said about, really honing down on who your customer is and talking to them, because it sounds like billboard is talk to anybody.
Right.
This principle inside social media, and I think maybe into websites, is really honing in on who that is and talking just to that
Absolutely.
person.
So most people think, if I can reach 10 million people, that's way better than reaching 100 people. But that's just not the case, because we can target those 100 people to people that are actually interested in your product and want to buy your product. So it's much better to target it down to somebody who's actually interested in you than trying to preach to the entire world, right? So that's a lot of the stuff that we do on social media, and through we do search engine optimization, search engine marketing, is to target those people that are actually interested in your product and want to buy from you.
And I would just catch the distinction, if there is one. What's the distinction between search engine optimization and search engine marketing?
Sure. So they're interchangeable depending on who you talk to. The biggest difference really is search engine optimization. The best way to look at it is search engine optimization is those organic search results that you see. Search engine marketing is more referring to like Google ads and those things that you see at the top of your search results. So ideally you want to be in both positions. because about 50 to 60% of people know the difference, right? And they know that that's an ad; they're not going to click on it. So you want to be in both positions.
Yeah, I always kind of scroll past the first ones because I'm like, well, and you can tell there's a slight difference between the ad and the actual one.
Right.
But
absolutely,
I love catching it because I'm like, I'm not going to click on that. See, sometimes I purposely click on it, like, that guy's going to make, I'm going to make him pay money.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
Make him pay money.
You do that to your competitors. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Okay, so so that's cool. So actually, what it sounds like is sometimes you may not want to do the search engine marketing. So you may just want to focus on the optimization because people do what we just talked about.
Right, absolutely. It depends on your budget, really. If you have the extra budget, you really want to be in both positions. Typically, the older generation doesn't know the difference, and they're still clicking on those. So it depends on what your market is, right? If you're trying to hit 18 to 25-year-olds, then that really wouldn't make sense for you.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to target somebody, 40 to 65, it's much more prevalent in that space. So that would make a lot more sense. So it really just depends on the client. It's a custom solution depending on every client that we work with. It requires a lot of research, figuring out exactly who their target market is, and then gearing a campaign around that.
And is there like testing and things involved in that as well?
Absolutely. And I mean, we've tested through past clients, and you can kind of bring that on to new clients. But absolutely, marketing as a whole is just testing. It's figuring out what works, what doesn't. We can take this off, bump this up. Figuring out where they can make the most money for the least amount of money in ad spend and things like that. So
cool. Yeah. So as we wrap up here, is there maybe one or two things that you could share with these business owners that are watching or marketing people inside that are marketing? Is one or two things that they should focus on most to help them in their marketing efforts right now?
Absolutely. So in marketing, the thing we really touch on the most, we say we're a full-fledged marketing company, but the things we touch on most are search engine optimization and social media. We think you're getting the most bang for your buck out of those two things. SEO is relatively inexpensive, and social media is super inexpensive when you think about the number of people you're reaching that actually care about you.
Got it.
You know so much about people on Facebook through their profiles, even if you don't want to give out that information. Marketers can find out that information, right?
Really?
Yeah. So it's so much more targeted going that route for a fraction of the price. Like I said, people are paying tens of thousands of dollars for a billboard that's reaching people that don't care about them. Or we could reach 10,000 people for $20 that are actually interested in what you sell. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a big difference.
That can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. And that's why a lot of these startups, they know that, right? And that's why they're starting to take out the bigger dogs in the space, because they know that they can pay a fraction of the price and compete with these bigger companies.
Oh, wow. So it's basically adapt or die.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of crazy.
So,
well, listen, man, I appreciate you being on. And,
thanks for having me.
And having everybody. Everybody, if you want to find Chad, everything will be posted here on to contact him. But Chad, why don't you go and share with everybody how to get a hold of you? And
absolutely. So you can look at my Karben Marketing site at karbenmarketing.com. That's KARBEN. If you wanted to look at my personal videos and things that I've done, you can go to my name, chadaddie.com. So that's CHADADDIE.com.
Cool.
I think that's it.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, thanks everybody again for coming to this Seize Your Business episode. My name is Bryan McDonald, partner at OnPurpose Growth. And if you want to learn anything about us, you can come to onpurposegrowth.com and learn how we help people grow their revenue. Take care.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for watching our video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Click the subscribe button for new videos every week, and download and review us on iTunes. Visit learn-about-law.com for other legal-related articles and videos. Visit our business podcast and video blog, seizeyourbusiness.com, and visit Making Real Estate Fun for real estate videos and podcasts. Call us at 630-324-6666 for a free consultation.